it's Donna, and this is Non-Denomination Bible Studies, which is and means non-dividing of humanity, because Christianity is not a religion. What religion you are, it is a reality. And Jesus Christ came to this earth. So, I got a couple places I'm going to go to, but first, I'm going to start with one of the two churches that Jesus Christ only approved of. There were 7 churches, and Jesus Christ only approved of 2. 2 of the 7. Smyrna and Philadelphia are the 2. It isn't the name of the church. It isn't the location of the church. It is the contents that are being taught by the minister or the preacher, because in every book of your King James Bible, you're warned about the pastor. Test your church. Test your fruit. Test your pastor. Are you learning anything with understanding when you go weekly? It's very important that your church teaches like Smyrna and Philadelphia did, which they both had one thing in common. Do you know what that is? You can read the 7 churches that Jesus Christ talks about. He approved of 2, the other 5 he didn't, and he tells you why, starting in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, through chapter 4. Gives you the churches and what he had to say about each one and what they were doing that he didn't or did approve of. So anyways, I'm going to read starting with one of them, which happens to be the key to David, Philadelphia, which is in chapter 3. But before I read that, in Revelation chapter 1, verse 16, when I always refer to this word, his word, the truth that is not being taught because of one verse Charlie's or a revolving rev that gets to talking about holidays and what you're going to do the next week and whatever else. Read a verse or 2 and then blow a bunch of hot air. While you're there that hour, the whole hour should be read with understanding afterwards, just like in school. But this is more important, hopefully to you, like it is me. So, anyways, I refer to this word, the truth, his word, is a two-edged sword, and it cuts both ways, brothers and sisters, in case you've never heard this before. Do you know about that? So anyways, that's Revelation 1:16. So I'm going to begin with Revelation chapter 3, and I'm going to read about 6 verses, starting with verse 7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy. Jesus Christ is doing the speaking, is in red letters. He that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. So a few people I know, they know about the key to David, but they don't have a clue how to get there and turn that key to get through the gate. Because if you don't know about the 7 seals, which these 2 churches taught of, okay, what they had in common, one thing, they taught about the ones who claim to be Christians and say they are Jews but are not, of our brother Judah. They lie. But they are of the synagogue of Satan. Why would he say that? Because if you don't know the 7 seals, which are 7 events that's going to happen before his return, it's a guarantee. Guarantee. It's a fact. He says it. I'm repeating it because most ministers don't. That the whole world will fall off at the 6, because the ones that don't know, don't believe, you're going to have to pick A or B. It's that simple. And you're going to see it with your own eyes. Don't worry, you won't have to wonder. You'll have the proof right in front of you. Do you know about the abomination that's about to take place when Michael cast the dragon and his angels into the earth as an entity, and that they're supernatural? How are they getting here? Well, transportation, whirlwinds, which are, I guess, what people call them, UFO. God's throne was aboard one of them. You can check that out in my recent video. And subscribe if you have not and you're watching this. So, the church is Philadelphia. Verse 9 or 8. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it, for thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. People that, like, you might be talking about God or Jesus Christ, and they get offended, or when someone walks into the room, they change the subject, look at their phone, and, you just, when you know, you can spiritually discern people. God gives you power over the dragon, which is Satan, and your enemies, if you know about it and you utilize it. Verse 9, behold, I will make them, he's going to make them what? Of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Do you get that? Why would he make them of the synagogue of Satan? Because you know who these people are, right? The ones that say they are Christians and are of our brother Judah, but are not. because it's the same ones that fall off the wagon at the sixth seal, sixth trump, and sixth vial. Because when the one and only Jesus Christ arrives at number 7, it's called the fallen away that Paul warned you about. And in your King James, either in the front or the back, it should say, beware, reader, of the apostasy. So, if you read that, surely you're thinking, oh, I better look and see what that means. Well, you better look it up in the original language, the Hebrew or the Greek, and see what it means. It's a fallen away. If this one entity fell at the overthrow, look the word foundation up in your appendix 146, if you have a companion Bible, and it'll tell you all about the Catabo, the overthrow of Tyrus. You know, you're either on God's rock or Tyrus rock. No other rocks. A or B. Same thing. Verse 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon who? Who's this going to come upon? Oh, got to see what he says. All, A-L-L, all the world, to try them. Why? Because they dwell upon the earth. Dwell upon the earth. You believed he was Jesus. Yeah, it's in the Greek. Instead of Jesus. You know about that? The Antichrist? It's in the book of John. Jesus tells you about it over and over. Who the Kenites are? Sons of Cain. Sons of Cain. That's what these two churches talked about too. The Kenites. You're supposed to learn the parable of the fig tree and the parable of the sower, the tares, and who they are. Kenites. Sons of Cain, brothers and sisters. In case you don't know that, and your church is not teaching his word, the truth, that the majority of churches do not teach because they read 1 or 2 verses each week in different books with no understanding. You got to read a chapter and go back over it. Hello? They're Bible thumpers. Thump, thump. Uneducated. Uneducated. So, I'm sharing with anyone who has an ear, let them hear. Jesus Christ is about to tell you that too. This is all in red. I will keep thee from the hour of temptation which shall come upon, verse 11, behold, I come quickly, and what? Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Don't let no one take your crown. Do you know what your purpose is as a Christian and what he expects of you? Why do you think people are going to be praying for mountains to fall on them? Because when they realize they got suckered, when he kills the 2 witnesses, come on, have you read? Do you know? It's written. 3 days later, the one and only Jesus Christ returns. And you won't bend the flesh at his presence. all flesh will be turned into a different type of body. Do you know that? It's in Corinthians. Have you ever read that? Hopefully you're learning from your church. He knows all things. Even what you're thinking right now as you're hearing me say this. All wisdom comes from God. Remember that. Verse 12. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. Do you understand that? That was Jesus Christ. There's another sentence or two, and then I'm going to go to another book and tell you exactly who they are that Jesus Christ warned you about. That's why I approved of this church, and it's the key to David. Wake up. Come on. Get out of the traditions and what your family members before you believed. John was taken to the Lord's Day. Hello. We're all going to find out what role each one of us had. He already knows everybody's role by the number of hairs on their head, your DNA. It's new to us in the 90s. He's the one that created it. That's why we're all different, unique, got different purposes in life. Do you know yours? Have you known since you were a child there was more to God's word than you had ever heard at the pulpit? Wasn't making no sense, wasn't getting no education. If so, you would be right. Welcome aboard. Okay, last verse. I'm going to stop at verse 13. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. So you see, remember, it's what's being said and taught in the church. Every book's on that minister. So if the minister's only reading 1 or 2 verses every week, you'll be dead twice. You'll be dead twice. Thought about it like that, hopefully. If not, get to thinking of it mathematically, figuring it out. You go 40 years and your minister only reads 1 or 2 verses. I'm sorry, they might get half read. You'll be dead twice. Okay, so, now listen, this is very important. So, when Jesus spoke, he spoke in parables. That's why it's important. He says in Mark 13 and Matthew 24 to learn the parable of the fig tree, which began in Genesis. Did you know that? God's first prophecy, is Genesis 3:15. If you haven't read it, read it. It's what happened to Eve in the garden with the same one, the entity from the first earth age. If you don't understand, just put it on a shelf. Let it sit a minute or a while. Meditate, analyze, look. And then maybe if you ask God for wisdom, it will come to you, or he will give it to you. It's up to him and you. I'm out of the equation, just trying to share what I do know of his truth and his word that is not being taught because of uneducated ministers' laziness. I'm sorry, he says they're stupid. Did you know that? Yep, sure does. And that's in one of my other studies. So, I'm about to read these few verses, about 8 of them. Go to Matthew chapter 13. We're going to let Jesus Christ tell you, because what's really important about this is he says to learn the parable of the fig tree over and over. There's a reason why. And the other parable, one of them, there's only one parable that he went into detail to explain a parable. Did you know that? Does your church teach that? Probably not, to be honest, I know. So anyways, we're going to see what he has to say and who they are. Matthew chapter 13, we're going to begin with verse 35. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret. What? Oh, what? Kept secret. From the foundation of the world. Do you know about that? Do you know about that? Listen, because he's about to tell you, and then he's going to explain it. So there's no confusion. Then Jesus sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto as the parable of the tares of the field. The word field is world in the original language. That's what the word field means. Verse 37. Now listen, here we go. He answered and said unto them. Now, Jesus Christ is doing the speaking right now. It's in red, the last 6 verses I'm going to read. He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man, Adam. Ha-Adam. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. Who? The good seed are the children of the kingdom. Who's that? That would be the Lord of Lords, King of Kings. The King, the one and only, and his dominion. That's who. But what? But the tares are the children of the wicked one. Whoa, right there. Who's that? That would be the one Tyrus from the first earth age. Did you know that? He has many, many names. If not, watch my Bible study called Do You Know Who and What the Prince Is? That's the name of it. So, my battery is just, let me know it's getting low. Verse 39, the enemy that sowed them, listen, is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. I hope you understand that plain as day. And therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire. So shall it be in the end of this world. If you don't repent and have a change of heart, that's what's going to happen. God is a consuming fire. Have you ever read Hebrews 12, last verse, which is 29? God is a consuming fire. Verse 41, the Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. That's the ignorance, that the ones that fall off at the sixth trump, sixth seal, sixth vial. You got to know what in your mind. Do you know and have you read? It is written. No excuse. There'll be no excuse. Don't worry, the ministers are the first ones to be judged. They'll pay for leading you astray. All people astray. Let me rephrase that, because he says the whole world. Verse 42, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father, with a capital F, the true one, the one and only, the ones that didn't get suckered. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Well, what do you think about that? Meditate. Check that out. In case you do not know that, your minister could be leading you right into that trap, because he says the whole world. I don't know. Do you know where you're at? What part you got in this? Have you repented for your sins today? Flesh is sin. I'm a sinner daily, and so are you. Yep. Grieve God that he even made flesh, but he had a plan of salvation, and it's not just believing that he died on the cross for us, and that's it. Be judged? No, you're going to be judged for the abomination if you don't know the seven seals, and to wait in the field, which is the world, which means you won't be in the flesh. Hello. Do you know that? Is your minister got any intelligence and reading it with understanding? It's really important that you check it out yourself if you don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Seriously. I'm sharing with those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, and ask him for the wisdom. It's between you and him. So anyways, I'm going to sign off for now. But remember, talk to him. You don't need a minister. Just talk to him normally like he's sitting right here. He already knows what you're thinking anyways. So what would it matter if you talked out loud or not? Talked out loud, Satan can hear you, because he's supernatural, and he has power until he perishes. Tyrus, Want to just read you about the devil? Same entity. If you don't understand, there's one heaven, one earth, but three separate ages, and what happened in the first one, you're done lost. Your minister's done lost you. He's lost himself, honestly. The famine in the end times is for hearing this word, his word, the truth. Seriously. So anyways, I'm going to sign off for now. But remember, until the next time, may God bless.